The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Zarketh the Destroyer rose from his obsidian throne. Standing 12 feet tall, with chitinous armor that gleamed like polished death and mandibles that could snap a starship's hull, the Predator King commanded fear across 17 star systems. His species, the Vorthak, had conquered worlds for millennia, their culture built entirely around the concept of the hunt. The humans, Zarketh's voice rumbled through the chamber like distant thunder.
Dare to petition for membership in our council?
Ambassador Sarah Chen stood calmly at the center of the circular chamber, her modest 5-foot frame dwarfed by the towering alien representatives surrounding her. Earth's first diplomatic mission to the Galactic Council had been going poorly, for weeks. The other species saw humanity as soft, weak prey, newcomers to the cosmic stage with no notable achievements beyond barely escaping their own solar system. "We seek only peaceful coexistence and mutual benefit," Chen replied, her voice steady despite the hostile atmosphere. Zarketh's laugh was like grinding metal. "Peaceful coexistence is for prey. The strong rule, the weak serve. This is the natural order." He pointed a clawed appendage at Chen. "Your species has no warriors, no hunters. You build farms, not armies. You heal instead of hunt. You are prey." The chamber erupted in chittering, roaring, and various alien approximations of laughter. Chen felt the weight of 1 billion human hopes pressing down on her shoulders. Earth needed these trade routes, these alliances. Without them, humanity would remain isolated, vulnerable to any hostile force that discovered their little blue world. "Perhaps," Chen said, her voice cutting through the noise, "you would allow me to demonstrate that humans are not quite what you believe us to be?" The laughter died. Zarketh's 4 eyes focused on the small human with newfound interest. "You challenge the natural order? You dare to suggest that prey can stand against predator?" Chen straightened her shoulders. "I challenge you, Zarketh the Destroyer, to single combat. If I lose, humanity withdraws its petition and accepts whatever fate you deem fit. If I win, humanity joins the council as equals." The silence that followed was absolute. In 3,000 years of Galactic Council history, no one had ever challenged the Predator King to single combat. It was considered suicide. Zarketh's mandibles spread in what passed for a grin among his species. "Acceptable. We fight with traditional weapons, only blade against blade, warrior against warrior, tomorrow at dawn, Terran time." That night, as Chen prepared in her quarters, she received hundreds of messages from Earth. Military advisors, combat specialists, even her own mother begged her to reconsider. She was a diplomat, not a warrior. She had never been in actual combat. But Chen understood something that others didn't. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their bodies or their weapons. It was in their minds. Dawn broke over the neutral moon where the duel was to take place. Representatives from dozens of species gathered to witness what they assumed would be a massacre. Zarketh arrived armed with an energy-forged blade that hummed with deadly power and wearing ceremonial armor that had protected him through 100 victories. Chen wore simple combat gear and carried a single, seemingly primitive metal sword. "Last chance to surrender, little prey," Zarketh rumbled as they faced each other in the dueling circle. Chen tested the weight of her sword, an exact replica of a katana, forged in the ancient traditions of Earth's samurai. "I appreciate your concern, but I'll stand." The duel began with Zarketh's thunderous charge. His massive blade swept through the air where Chen had been standing, but the human was no longer there. She had rolled to the side, using the Predator King's momentum against him. Her blade flicked out like a striking snake, finding the joint between his armor plates. Zarketh roared in surprise rather than pain. The wound was superficial, but no one had touched him in combat for decades. His next attack was more cautious, more calculated. But Chen was ready. She fought like water, fluid, adaptive, finding every weakness. For 20 minutes they danced their deadly dance. Zarketh's brute strength shattered stone where his blade struck, but Chen was never where he expected her to be. She fought with the accumulated wisdom of humanity's greatest warriors, the patience of a samurai, the cunning of a ninja, the relentless pressure of a boxer who had studied every opponent. The turning point came when Zarketh, frustrated and tired, committed fully to a devastating overhead strike that would have split Chen in half. Instead of dodging, she stepped forward, inside his reach, and drove her katana up through the gap in his armor, piercing his primary heart. The Predator King's eyes widened in shock as he crashed to the ground. In his final moments, he looked at the small human standing over him with something approaching respect. "How?" he whispered. Chen knelt beside the dying Predator King, her voice gentle despite the circumstances. "You hunt alone. We learned to hunt together. Every technique I used was passed down from humans who faced impossible odds and found a way to survive. You're stronger, faster, more naturally equipped for killing. But we're more than the sum of our parts." The galaxy watched in stunned silence as Sarah Chen, a diplomatic attaché from a previously unknown species, defeated the most feared warrior in known space. But what shocked them more was what came next. As Zarketh breathed his last, Chen performed a ritual from her own culture. She closed his eyes and whispered words of respect for a fallen opponent. To the gathered aliens, who understood only conquest and domination, this act of mercy and honor was more alien than faster-than-light travel. Humanity joined the Galactic Council that day, but not just as members, as the species that had shown the galaxy that there was strength in compassion, power in unity, and that sometimes the greatest victory came not from destroying an enemy, but from understanding them. Years later, when young Vorthak warriors spoke of their fallen king, they would add a new phrase to their ancient war songs. Even the fiercest predator should beware the human heart, for it hunts not for sport, but for something far more dangerous: hope. The galaxy still whispers about that day, when a small human reminded the universe that the deadliest predator is the one that fights not just for survival, but for something worth living for.